All right, we'll call the special meeting of the Fire Commission for Wednesday, November 9th, 2022 to order. And we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item up would be the consideration of approval of regular meeting minutes from October 12th, 2022, which we all have a copy of.
So moved.
Motion made by Fred to accept them, seconded by me. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
First up, we'll do the chief's reports. We'll start with Chief McCollum.
The first thing was you wanted me to come back with a ranking for all the windows and doors. So when you go through that document, I can tell you that that's the document dated October 7, 2022. That would be to replace the EMS door first. The punch windows would be second. The curtain walls and main entrance doors, that's the stair tower with all the glass walls on the side corner of the building and in the front over the main entrance doors that are glass. And then the seal fill glass in the kitchen. That would be the way that I would look to do them. The other thing you could do is if you wanted to bundle together three, I would tell you that you could bundle together the EMS door, the punch windows, and the glass in the kitchen, which will cost $41,260. And then the next phase would be the curtain wall, which is the most expensive, the curtain wall and the main entrance doors. It's all glass, and it's all the framings that need to be replaced with insulated framing, etc., which is $72,500. Total cost of the project is $113,760. Both it wall. Okay, so that's, like I said, I'm just bringing it back to you because you wanted it ranked.
And prioritize.
And that
right?
store is definitely the number one priority.
Okay.
Chief Ingram's seen it, he can tell you it's rotting pretty bad. You have to force it shut. That's an exterior door, and that needs to be replaced. You have full security there.
Okay.
That is aluminum, and it's not steel. Steel is way more expensive.
Okay.
Aluminum panels, and it will have the fob. There's a fob on that, so we'll know if somebody opens it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
The next thing would be just a discussion on the new radios. I brought you my portable tonight, so you gentlemen can all see it. That's what $400,000 plus is buying, along with chargers for the vehicle chargers and the desktop chargers. The officers of both departments now have those in service because we have the desktop chargers, but we do not have the vehicle chargers yet. Tom's done a fantastic job dealing with utility throughout. He's got them nailed down to a date that supposedly those chargers for the vehicles will be in.
Okay.
So it's from Motorola, so it's not
Right.
utility, it's
Yeah,
Motorola.
as I said, he may have some
Sometime
comments
in December, they're supposed to ship sometime in December.
Right.
December, ship December
Yeah,
2022.
this year, yeah.
You were implying 23, were you?
I want to clear, have you seen the back order on some stuff?
Yeah.
And then utility will put them in right away.
Yeah, I think the two will work out as far as being installed.
Get them in and get moving, right?
Yeah.
In service, because right now the officers are the only ones using them because those are the only we can keep charged.
It's been a long time coming, right?
Yeah, it's been-
Very long.
All right.
ARPA update.
Yeah.
I guess there's been some changes this past week about.
On that one, I think we'll wait, because that's an item on the agenda.
Okay.
We'll go into discuss.
And then the new porta pond is in service,
Okay,
okay?
that one you ended
We
up
were
getting,
able to finally track down the correct size, so we did not have to buy the frame, which saved us approximately, saved the town taxpayers approximately $1,500. The frame had a slight bend in it that my guys were able to bend back. It's a steel frame, it's very resilient. I actually got there in time to help them put the actual pond back in the frame, and we got it back on the truck. So there's two now back on that tanker. They're the only two in town.
Okay.
So I appreciate the fact that you gentlemen approved that very quickly, so that I could get back in service.
absolutely.
That total cost was, I can tell you, $1,989.
Are we gonna work at all to recover that from Newtown, or?
We're trying to.
Okay.
We're trying to get that with insurance. I don't know if that's gonna work or not, but
Okay.
tried before on
Yeah,
foam issue, when we float foam, I explained to you down at the industrial park for a big truck fire, and they basically ignored so
okay,
it is what it is. We go through the town and through the town's insurance agency, and then they go to that.
They go back there.
And try to get it. That's, basically where we are with that. The ARPA stuff we can discuss later. I have some pricing on some things that we're gonna get that are needed,
okay,
that will save money.
all right,
So that's a good thing.
that's what we like to hear.
Yes.
Okay.
Other than that, we're in pretty good shape. The budget's in good shape. And, we're just moving forward.
All right.
So got the work, which is great, except I gotta make sure we have money to support that.
I got you. All right, thank you. Chief Baker,
It's a pretty short report. I don't think I have anything that's outstanding. The truck was put forward to the Board of Selectmen.
Yep.
The, it's gonna be discussed later is the ARPA fund, so that'll take care of some of the allocation on some of the other things that were outstanding, such as the AEDs, the power structure, the camera systems were approved. Just waiting for that to continue to move forward.
okay. Thank you, gentlemen. The next item then,
Yeah, the only other thing is, Tom, just remind me, this is why he's here tonight, is the foam, the PFAS on the rigs. Stony Hill has 2 rigs with it on it.
Yep.
Bethel has 1.
Yep.
And I would defer to Tom Gallagher to discuss that with you gentlemen, to explain exactly what he's done so far for both departments and for the town to try and get that mitigated.
So I think you're probably all mostly aware with the AFFF foam has the PFAS and the forever chemicals. Because we're banned by the state of Connecticut now.
Yep.
So long story short is they banned it in 21. Last March, April, May, they were doing a take back program where the state had $2 million bond where they're taking back all the old AFFF foam from all the fire departments. Both Stony Hill and Bethel gave it back through the vendor to get disposed of free of charge to the town.
Yeah.
So they spent about half of that money so far. So now the question is, all these apparatus across the state, including 3 in Bethel, have 40-gallon foam tanks with this PFAS foam in it that you cannot use, you cannot discharge, you cannot use it at all.
yes,
So they've done some experiments with it, with draining it out and rinsing it out. The DEEP has a guidance about how to rinse it out properly. You have to rinse it 3 times with 120-degree water. You have to capture all the contained water. That's all considered hazardous waste, etc. So when you do that, it takes about 95% of the material out of there. So even if you do that and you put the green foam in the tank, you still have to report any discharge of it, any use of it to DEP. So I've been following this for a while, and I just think from the town perspective, it's a huge liability for us having these free apparatus in town with 40 gallons each of this foam. I know we've disconnected the foam. So part of the guidance is disconnecting the levers and equipment so you can't use it. So we've done that. So some vendors, there are some environmental companies out there that are starting to do this for fire departments. Only a couple have done it so far. I talked to the Ellington Fire Chief. It costs them about $3,000 per apparatus to do it, roughly.
Okay.
So I'm getting a quote from their vendor to do it. I got a rough estimate of about 25,000. That includes not only cleaning it, but disposing of all the rinse water, plus the 120 gallons of pure foam. But there still is money available through the state of Connecticut to get rid of the pure foam. But you have to have a bulk amount, because what they're doing now is, as a fire department, get rid of this and they store it, we have to store it, and then at some point the state will come pick it up for you and dispose it for free. So the cost is gonna kind of waver how we decide we want to do this. Another vendor is gonna do their first job in Greenwich. They're doing 9 apparatus in Greenwich in a couple of weeks. So they're not really sure, like, cost wise, so they want to do that first before they give me an estimate. So we just wanted to bring it to the attention at some point. I think we're gonna wanna, look at doing this and getting funds appropriated. Somewhere, I would say in the range between $10,000 and $20,000. We'll get better information. To at least take the foam out of the apparatus, rinse it out, and then just leave the tanks empty and just use, the inline deductors out of the 5-gallon pails.
Well, you could use the green foam in the tank, right? Or,
If you put the green
Yes.
foam in the tank,
yeah,
there's still about a 5% amount of that PFAS in there.
even if,
So you still-
even if the
even
vendor,
if-
So it has to be reported
So
because
it
of
still is
liability.
reportable. So anytime you use foam,
so even if
green
the
foam.
vendor does it, so we pay this 20 grand, then this is
There's still
still,
gonna be that 5%
there's
liability.
still a little bit left in there.
okay.
So it's lifetime reporting then? Anytime you-
Yeah, pretty much. If you
You're only good
use
until you
that
get rid of
tank.
that truck.
Yeah, I was just saying, so we're basically,
Replace the tank.
Well, that was, we kind of
That would
mentioned
be
that, like,
the
what
other
does it cost to
picture,
replace the
yes.
whole tank?
You could replace the tanks.
But you're gonna have to replace the tanks, the plumbing.
yeah, as I
And
said, you
plastic,
guys,
Yeah,
the whole
anything
system,
plastic or, that could,
you're
yeah.
better off just using the inline.
Right,
You're
just
better
use
off
it,
just
but at least
using mine.
get that 40-gallon that's sitting there, so it doesn't have some kind of catastrophic bill or something happens, somebody.
Do we have
We've made it
uh,
impossible for them to use it right now by disconnecting.
apparatus
The
that have
apparatus controls. for
green
it.
foam in them right now?
Yes, engine 6 never had PFAS in it.
Okay,
Engine 6 has the green PFAS-free foam in it. So we
Okay.
do have one engine in town that can go, with 40 gallons of foam on wheels right away.
okay.
I mean, we
So
can-
these
we can
other
put
three
it in the
apparatus
trucks.
with foam tanks on them
Yeah.
are basically,
Well,
you can't
I mean, you
use
can
them.
put them in it, but it's like Tom said, then you have to report it. Every time we use it, we're gonna have to report it.
No,
You
going
currently
forward,
do
they're gonna
So
be about-
what's the detractor of having to report it? I mean, you were supposed to, you were supposed to report, anytime you used foam in the past anyway.
I don't know, because.
Are they gonna come out and fine you because you used it, or is it just simple a reporting factor so that somebody's aware of it?
I don't,
For
that's,
future
I can
contamination.
find out
Yeah,
more,
for
it's reportable, so to me, that means it's still liability that we know we're using, even though we're using material that is
Yeah, there's
green,
cancer
there's
causing
residue in
agents
there
you
that
wanna
has this
report it to the
PFAS in
state.
it, and we're discharging it, So, I don't know.
I'd be interested to see what they come up with, because I'm sure they'll study it.
Yeah.
Because a neighboring department, I won't say who, a neighboring department did their own tank and put the green in it. So I'd be interested to see what happens when you're using the green in it. What they actually come up with for the percentage after the fact, I'm sure they'll do a study on that to see what it is. But the only way to do it is what Tom is saying, or as
So-
Rich said, replace the tanks in the trucks.
So if we remove the bulk foam though, and then that's what they come pick up, what's the vendor put in 55-gallon drums? and we-
Right, so theoretically, we could, if we put out containment, we could go there and empty the
Yeah.
pure foam into 55-gallon totes for ourselves and keep it stored in containment. And at some point, the state of Connecticut will come and pick it up free of charge.
And then they refund us money though? How-
No, they just
Oh,
that,
They
they
would
would
just
just
have to
get
take
rid
on
of
the
it.
cost of it.
Whereas you can hire an environmental company that will dispose it for you and charge you for that disposal fee now.
They're gonna charge you the whole.
Or we could work with the vendor and say, can you hold on to this? I don't know. Can you hold on to this
I
for
mean,
us?
I did that before with the old engine 5. I drained the foam out of that
Yeah,
before we sold it to keep the foam. I mean, it obviously didn't flush the whole system out, but I recovered 50 gallons
Yeah,
of foam
exactly.
for future use.
yeah.
So I mean, it's not a
the question is,
complicated
is there-
project.
They basically want the state, in order for them to get their vendor to pick it up, they want to have a tractor trailer load full. So they're going to wait until a bunch of departments have a bunch of extra foam, and they're going to go around the state and pick it up and get a tractor trailer load out.
Is there any liability of our been taken out of the trucks?
Yeah, because you can't spill a single drop of it on the
Yeah.
ground.
All right, well, that is. Do you still have that 55-gallon drum in your firehouse that's full of foam?
No, I have to check.
Because I hit it in the corner.
We got
Probably
rid of
still
all the
high.
nails and all the
Because we got rid of all
Yeah,
the
I gave him like
nails.
115
I mean,
gallons of foam to Newtown.
that's what got picked up, was all the 5-gallon buckets got picked up.
Okay.
So anything in anybody's rig is still in their rig. So as Tommy said, like Greenwich is gonna do what, nine rigs? So I would tell you sooner rather than later, because once it catches on and they all hear that Greenwich did it and it worked out and it's worked out, blah, 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 they're all gonna get in line. So if we get in line at the beginning,
Yeah.
At
I
least
just wanted
our
to bring
three
to the
get done.
attention to let you know, at some point, we're gonna,
you know,
you guys probably have to appropriate some funds to bring to the selectmen.
I mean, that's
Yeah, I'm
pretty.
wondering if there's any benefit to grouping together with some other departments and,
Yeah.
you know, doing it as, you know, a company comes in and does
Right.
4 or 5, 6 trucks, you know, or
Yeah.
whatever one that year.
Yeah, and I don't know who has it in Newtown, who has it in Danbury.
We only have it on one rig that's disabled.
Okay, but it's still gonna have to disappear at some point, right?
When they
We'll go with the
jump-
rig when they get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It goes with
So
no charge.
that's all I would say, is sooner rather than later, I think we want to get in line to get it done, because
And so your recommendation is have an outside firm come in and do it.
I think.
So we're not-
Yeah, and again, like I said, I just started getting prices and talking to vendors about it, so.
Could
I
you
wanted
find us a few quotes?
Yeah, I'm not working with 2 companies right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
Try
at
to get
like
it
the
there.
January meeting, you can present this with
Yeah.
us. Thanks, Tom. All right. That concludes our chief reports. Moving on to the discussion of the ARPA funds. I'm gonna,
All right.
Rich, speak to
Well,
this. 'cause he has the best information.
As some of you might be aware of, the ARCA committee has finally allocated some money to both departments. It's an allocation, it's not a definite number. Well, let me take that back. It's a pretty much definite number right now, so, but I'm sure it's always adjustable. So we came up with $75,000 for each department for EMS needs and $75,000 for the firehouse needs at this present time. So during the Board of Selectmen's meeting, the other selectmen really didn't like some of the items going to CNR. It's and what we did vote to send it to the Board of Finance to go to CNR, and at the Board of Finance meeting, they really want the Board of Selectmen to revisit it and try to take some of that money from the ARPA funds, which is a doable thing if we can do. So it's going back to the Board of Selectmen meeting. But your AEDs are already approved through the ARPA funds, so you can go ahead and purchase those if you haven't done it already. So I don't know if you can have anything to present to us tonight. I know that you want pagers, you want the stretcher,
Yeah.
so, you
Jim
know,
McCollum was looking into it to try and get a
Right.
a discount. for
We did,
getting all
all
of it.
not, the guy said, no.
Like,
You know, but the stretchers, pretty pricey items.
yeah, it was like 53 or something like that.
Yeah, as I told you,
Yeah.
they're all original. Stony Hills is original. Ours are also, we have 3. One is the spare, which is not, we're not replacing that one. That's not first generation. That's newer. So we're replacing 2. So the cost for 2, $62,289.44, and then you do a $5,000 credit for the 2 stretchers we're turning in. So what I would be using out of the EMS ARPA side funds would be $58,174.40, which is a great use, I think, of the ARPA funds.
Could you
because,
just repeat that for me? I'm sorry.
Sure. Actually, we're gonna copy this after too. It's $62,289.44. Okay, for 2. And then you take away $2,500 per stretcher, $5,000 for trade-in.
Okay.
Okay, they'll take the trade-ins. We don't want them. That's our liability if they're hanging out at the firehouse.
Yep.
That doesn't make any sense. don't need 5. Okay, so then the total, including the freight and shipping, is $58,174.40.
That's just for you guys? or
That's for Bethel Fire, that's
Okay.
for 2 stretchers. And
Okay,
then Chief Baker will be getting 1 stretcher and the
Power
power,
load system.
because
Okay.
our power loads are very good, but his, obviously, it needs to be replaced,
yours is original, right?
right?
Chris, what are the ages of the 2 units we replaced? Are they both the same age or?
Those are both the same, yeah, they're first generation, I can get you the actual.
Well,
year.
no, I'm just
But
curious.
yeah, they're shot. The new ones have the up-to-date, there's some up-to-date safety features on them, and they're also better, they operate on battery, which the raised and lower. The batteries are like the next generation battery now too, that actually holds the charge longer and it's a better battery. So all that old stuff will go back to Stryker, who's the dealer in this area that everybody pretty much uses. For stretchers of this type.
Okay,
So that's the plan, to use that amount of money out of the EMS allocation
okay,
immediately, get
Yep.
those done, get them ordered. It's gonna, the lead time on those
yeah,
is 3 months approximately, so. You know. Get them ordered, the lead time's 3 months, and then we go from there.
Do we have to do anything with that? And the funds are already approved. so,
yeah.
Well, we
Is it their discretion to spend it, or-
well, the Board of Selectmen has to approve the final thing.
Right, so I mean,
So
do we have to recommend that? it
Yeah,
goes to the board of
yeah.
selectmen?
Yes.
Okay.
So, you want to have a motion
You
to
do.
approve?
do we want to do it by each item? or-
Yeah, for each department.
Okay,
All right, so I'll make the motion that we allocate $58,174. And what was the change, chief?
40,
40 cents.
40 cents for the
Oh.
purchase of 2 stretchers
Right.
out of the ARPA funds for the Bethel Fire Department.
If,
Oh.
EMS
EMS
ARPA funds.
Fred, if I may, let's do the 62,000 with the credit and then the net. The total cost, and then we have a credit of 5,000.
All right, I'll amend my motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that we authorize the expenditure of $62,289.44 out of the EMS ARPA funds for the purchase of 2 stretchers for the Bethel Fire Department. And we'll-
Next credit.
And we'll get a credit of $2,500 for each of the 2 stretchers that we turn in on trade for a total of $5,000 credit, totaling a $58,174.40 expenditure.
Including the freight and shipping, which is $884.96. That's within that price.
Okay.
And I will make copies with Mary after, so you can all have a copy of this.
I'll second.
all right, motion made by Fred, seconded by Doug. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Do you have any other items for the EMS side of it?
Do you have the price for the pagers?
The
With the-
price for the pagers I turned in before, it was just under $10,000. It's 20 pagers. And that's with if they come with a 2-year warranty. I also included the extra 3-year warranty to get to a 5-year warranty, because nothing really breaks at 2 years. But from 2 years to 5 years, usually that's when you have issues. So there'll be warranty through 5 years, which is what our current pagers are, warranty through 5, because that's what they used to provide.
Okay,
But of course, once COVID hit, they went away from the 5-year warranty and went down to a 2-year where you could buy the extra 3.
Okay.
So that's exactly what I did in the quote. Did 20 pagers.
Yeah.
Communications. This pager right here. Okay. This pager. It's got an LED display. You can click through it and you'll see the different channels that it follows. Okay. And it's 20 units, which should cover what we need to do. And like I said, I got the extended warranty because it just made sense. Because if if they break, you're spending way more money than sometimes than they're worth.
And you said it's just under 10,000.
Yeah, and I'll dig that paperwork
So,
out. I
Rich,
did turn it
Rich, if
in
I make a
before time.
motion to,
9,800.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just
Not
under
to
ten
exceed,
thousand
not to
dollars.
yeah, for to not to exceed $10,000 for the
Right,
purchase of.
that was.
I actually have a
And then-
question on this.
Yes.
And then if you would, Chris, just get it the exact price, okay?
Yeah, Tommy has the exact price,
Yeah,
what I said, I did turn it in, because it was going through the ARPA, so I turned it into Tommy, but I'll find my copy sheet.
All right, my question is, are we taking this out of your fire department?
My intention is to take it out of the fire side of the ARPA,
Okay,
funds. That's
Okay,
correct,
well,
yes,
then make that.
I got it, yep.
that is my intention.
What was your question?
I have a question on the programming of these. I know there was a batch at one point that they were programmed to monitor like other departments in the area.
Yes, like we can click
Are we
over,
still doing that? And is there an
can-
additional cost to that?
No.
Why are we doing that?
no, we can click, there's X amount of channels in there, so you fill the channels, we can click over like a monitor Danbury. So if Danbury has something going on, I can go to Danbury
There's people here that know how to do, we don't have to. pay
Yeah,
somebody
to the monitor and do it.
Well, that's my main concern. Is
We
is
have-
there an additional cost to the
No, because
programming of that?
we bought what they call, what is it called, we bought that.
I just find it
We bought the
particularly
code
annoying at
plug,
work when the damn
so
thing
we
tell
can
them
do
start
it
dropping
ourselves.
somebody's page.
Yes, we bought the code plug so we can do it ourselves. It was a one-time expense. I don't know, a couple of years ago when they first got the unifications. And they will all be etched like they are on the back with the, they'll say Bethel Fire on it.
Okay,
And what it'll have is it'll have
like a
the
number,
year,
tracking
well,
number.
it'll have like
It's a year.
22
So it's
dash like
20.
01.
Gotcha.
So you know that's what, 22 and it's page one.
See how they're
up to
identifying
page
it,
20.
which it's not the
There we
fire
go.
department's page,
Okay,
and it was bought in 2020.
I'll make a
It was
motion
the fourth page.
that we buy 20, we appropriate for 20 pagers, not to exceed $10,000 from Bethel's ARPA firefighting fund.
I'll second. it, okay. All right, motion made by Doug to purchase it, 20 pagers not to exceed $10,000 out of the fire fund, seconded by Fred. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The other items, chief, for you?
I don't know, did you want, are you taking the money for the doors out of that, Rich?
Well,
Fire side?
that's a discussion I think we're gonna have a little bit later about the building.
Okay.
Oh.
I have that if you need it.
Okay.
$19,500.
I'm sorry, Chris, what was that? So that was for the back door?
$19,500, that
No,
was for
That's
the,
for the, that's
for
for
what you gentlemen agreed to, which was
his lights.
the,
Those
the
garage
opening
doors. Oh,
systems.
all right.
and the safety system on
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to break it up between that and actually buying the
Yeah.
doors. Right.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, I think we're talking about the door that's in the back of the.
Oh,
building
no,
that needs to
no.
be replaced.
Nope.
John, do you have that price for your stretcher?
I do, it was $52,858.97.
Yes, the stretcher in.
Yeah, that's everything, right?
Yes, that's the,
Can't just round numbers up.
Yeah, right?
They never do, Rich.
So
And that's-
I'll make a
and that's-
motion.
And he gave you.
Is that shipping and everything, John?
that's everything.
Installation?
No, it might not be installation. You wanted to table it till next month and I get a, because this is just telling me that it's equipment costs.
How about we, if it's 52,858.97, you got an idea of what installation would be?
Don't go over 55. 50, yeah. Just go, just up to.
How about we
55.
say not to exceed 60?
No, 60, 60, yeah.
What do you think, Rich? Or do
It
you want
can't
to?
be that much to take one out. and put one in.
I don't know.
The
People are-
mounting's all there. you
People
know
are
what I mean?
expensive
They're gonna
nowadays.
take one out and put one in for them.
Yeah, that's true, everything's there.
The mounting's all there.
Power's there.
You're just basically replacing it, right?
They're just taking the actual unit out of the back and
Wire
putting
it
it
over.
in. Right.
All right, well,
Yeah, we could do that. When we do that, then give us the price and then we can adjust it before.
So I'll make a motion that we expend not to exceed $60,000 out of the ARPA funds EMS side for the Stony Hill Fire Department for the installation of a stretcher and power load system.
I'll second it. Motion made by Fred, seconded by myself. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right.
Question? What's the status of the cameras on the outside of the building at South Street? Is that
Well,
gonna
that's
be
going
discussed
back.
later?
Let's go back to the Board of Selectmen for approval for the
For all,
ARPA funds.
yeah, that was just under $5,000.
Okay. Chief, you got anything on your fire side that you're looking for?
Well, if it's now being allocated to ARPA funds, then it would be the camera system. It was also,
That's already gone through. so-
right, that we had the prices in quotes for going through the.
Yeah, that.
Through the
that's
town,
what my
yeah.
notes were.
Okay. So basically, the stuff that you guys approved at the last meeting is now gonna come from the ARPA funds, is that
Yeah, and so probably it'll come out of the firehouse
side of it?
side of it.
Okay.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
As long as I know what it is, I know
Yeah.
what I'm left to work with.
Okay.
The only thing that is pretty much outstanding as far as the order is gonna be coming from is the new chief truck.
Yeah, that's our next item on the whole list. All right, any further discussion on the ARPA list, ARPA funds? The next item then kind of ties into that, which is a discussion of the funding for the chief's vehicle at Stony Hill Fire Department, which we discussed last meeting. And sent forward the recommendation to purchase it to the Board of Selectmen. And the Board of Selectmen has requested us to discuss where we could find funding options.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it
Here we are.
didn't go, seeing how there's only two selectmen. One selectman was in favor of taking it from ARCA and the other was taking it from the town's funds, CNR or capital. It's my opinion that, if we didn't have this other money, it would come out of the town. And that's my belief, so we're at a stalemate with it, so. I don't know where it's gonna go. We can bring it back up at the Board of Selectmen's meeting and hopefully we can go from there. But there's been some discussion. I had a conversation with the chairman about, an alternative vehicle for you. But you had strong feelings that you were gonna use this vehicle pretty much as a first responder. rescue
Correct, I
truck.
wasn't looking to basically narrow it down to just being specifically command. So I was trying to take what the existing truck is, which is only a first responder vehicle where it has, speedy dry in it, a chainsaw, a water can, a dry chem, a set of irons, PPE, a closet hook, everything for firefighting, but nothing for command. So, but having that inside of a SUV isn't really going to work. Having a command board in a truck would still work, having the front part of the slide out being command, the back half of the slide out being those items. Having the cap on the truck would be able to mount those items vertically instead of horizontally, still being able to have the same amount of stuff in half the space.
It's the price of the truck isn't bad, it's the outfitting of the truck.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest concern with that is you're saying you want to use it as a command vehicle and like a utility type vehicle. So my question is then, why do you need a command vehicle and a utility vehicle? Because you have a utility vehicle with the fire department as well.
2 in 1, what do you mean by having, you would be able to have both capabilities in one vehicle.
Right, so then you don't need the utility truck that you have in your firehouse.
No,
So we would not
it's
need to
being
replace that in
allocated to the
future.
chief, that's just one person. So I wouldn't be leaving it at the firehouse.
I don't, me personally, I just don't see the need to keep all kinds of first responder stuff on the command vehicle. I mean, if it's a command vehicle, it's a command vehicle. Your first responders are your members, you're the chief. You're not supposed to be the first responder.
You got a medical bag, right?
Yeah, there's a medical bag. in there also.
Defibrillator.
Yeah, no, I understand all that stuff. I mean, I question chainsaws and irons and stuff
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that.
some of that stuff I could probably get rid of, but also, but having the PPE inside the cat, in an SUV, when we're talking about having carcinogens and cancer-causing agents on it, we're trying to get that out of that compartment, out of the passenger compartment, not add it to the passenger compartment.
John, let me ask you, what's the condition of the existing truck that you have?
It's an 05 with 57,400 miles on it now. It's, decals on it are all cracked and sun faded and need to be replaced. Same with the reflective striping. It's got some dents in it, it's got some scratches in it. So it needs some body work. There is some surface rust. The cab corner on the passenger side is starting to rust out. There is some surface rust on the frame. The exhaust is starting to get louder, so there's some leaks in the exhaust somewhere.
That's a Ford. I mean,
It's a 17.
you should have that checked
It's a
out. anyway.
17-year-old truck.
Yeah, you should have the exhaust checked out anyway, and
Right.
just, we don't want anybody to overcome. Maybe
The
My
driver's
basic-
seat's got a hole in it from going in and out constantly for 17 years.
Well, the real question is you're looking how to fund it. I mean, we already made the recommendation to buy it,
Right,
so.
well, and again, it went to the board of selectmen, and one selectman has one theory how to fund it, the other selectman has the other theory about funding it.
But the Board of Selectmen is in favor of or opposed to purchasing it? They just.
Well, we're in favor of purchasing it. but
Just-
we're-
just
we're
don't
in the
know how to
funding
fund it.
position.
Right, so discussing, what vehicle to get is kind of a moot point.
Yeah,
We really just kind of need to
well,
discuss.
it
how to
was
fund
just
it.
something that came up and we thought this should just be discussed.
Would the selectmen be agreeable to splitting it,
Yeah,
half and half to the different
Well,
accounts?
That's what I was thinking.
Well, the town attorney is kind of against that because you using two different fund things. And we talked about that before.
Yeah.
In other projects, funding, and it's tough to do that.
Well, I was thinking we could fund buying the truck out of one and then
Yeah.
fund outfitting the truck out of the other, that way it's two separate things technically. And
Yeah,
I think it-
I can bring it back to the board of selectmen, or can you wait till February to buy the truck?
sure, I'll probably wait till February. It's probably a better idea anyway, because with the bad weather, let the,
Let the old
get the
truck
brand
take
new
off.
one where better weather.
So what's the, oh, I get you, February, never mind, I understand now. All right, so,
I mean, it could be a totally different thing then too, but.
so do we want to make a motion?
Well, let me have further conversation with the board of selectmen then.
All right, so
The
why
other
don't we make
selectmen.
the, I'll make a motion that we, recommend to the Board of Selectmen to discuss splitting the funds for purchasing of the truck out of one fund and the cost to
Okay.
outfit it out of another.
Okay, that's,
I'll second that.
that'll move it.
Okay, so the motion was made by myself, seconded by Fred Ingram. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. John, one day we'll get you this truck. All right. Next up is, sorry, discussion of building maintenance items. This is kind of goes along with your doors and whatnot. The selectmen discussed that, and I believe there was a discussion, Rich, of whether that should be out of the town's building funds.
Right. Yeah, again, DJ and I had a discussion last week about the building maintenance or the buildings of the fire service. Is it really under the prerogative of the fire commission to oversee the buildings, or is it a town maintenance department or to do it? So there has to be more discussion with the town engineer who oversees building maintenance. I really think it's a town responsibility, not the fire commission or the fire department, to maintain those buildings. They
I
are,
agree with you 100%.
they
I
are
agree
town-owned
100%,
buildings.
so, yeah.
Yeah, and I
I
kind of,
mean, I always, when I was chief, I
I
always
agree.
maintained a maintenance account, but it was for small things. You
Yeah.
don't get, light ballasts
Yeah,
that need,
right.
or light bulbs that need to be replaced. It was, major construction or modifications to the building had to go through building maintenance.
Right.
Right, so,
I think maybe
we-
the process needs to be set up,
Yeah.
gentlemen. that
Well,
says that
that's
maybe
what-
I go to report it to building maintenance and I make sure you guys get copies. So you
Yeah.
guys understand what's going on. Like, hey, I report, we need to do an audit of all the exterior doors and windows because the building from 1966 and this stuff's failing.
Yeah.
And I make sure you guys get
is this,
copies.
is this something we need to speak to somebody together? or-
Well, no, let's just continue on this conversation, and I think we need to get a better handle on our capital improvement accounts for departments. We include your doors and things like
Yeah.
that. And, it
But
should be,
like I said, for 5 years, basically, you gentlemen know how much was done.
Yeah.
Between his term and my term, not much was done. So I'm playing catch up here now with a building built in 1966. We got to get it back to where it should be. And then we should be pretty good, once we're there, to just maintain it.
well, I agree, we need
That's
to
the
get it
problem.
back, but we're gonna need to take the steps.
No, I understand. I'm just saying
And
that,
if we
you know,
we get a good capital plan, we need to stick to that capital plan. I've seen over the years that, things are on the capital plans and that keeps getting pushed back, and pushed back, and pushed back.
Well, that's been my biggest
I-
concern, is
yeah.
I haven't seen it, none of these items have come across on the capital. plan. They haven't been in any.
I brought up the bay doors when I first became chief, the very first joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance, and it was denied. And it was $51,000 then, so here we are now. It is what it is, guys.
Right, but it hasn't been any, in the 5-year capital
I
plan.
think that should be separate. I agree with Rich. It should be separate. It shouldn't be in the 5-year capital plan that the chief and I are presenting. It
Oh,
should
no,
be-
not your capital plan,
Right,
in
that
the
should be in a
building.
separate plan
Yeah.
with building maintenance. We should
Yeah, it
just
should
be
be in their
reporting to them
five-year.
what we feel needs to be done.
Right, yeah.
And then it should be on agreement that, yes, that's what needs to be done. And then you get the prices.
So, I will
I
further
agree.
conversation with the public works director, the finance director, the controller, and see how we can move forward on getting this situated.
Eric was
Listed or
very
done.
helpful with the whole bay door thing when I did all that. I have to say, he was very receptive and very helpful.
Because his building's pretty new, so you're the ones having
20 years?
the repairs and stuff. So, I mean,
Yeah.
almost meeting after meeting,
No, I
you're coming
listen,
and asking for
but
something.
here's the thing. If you remember, whatever I brought up at our very first meeting, gentlemen. It's been going on since our first meeting.
Yep.
The only thing I didn't bring up at our very first meeting was that I decided this year, in looking at the exterior of the building, you know what? I need to get an audit of everything else. And that's what I did, and I brought it to you. Okay, the only things I've asked for off budget was the tank.
Yep.
And the pagers through ARPA. Everything else has been on budget. And it's been upfront from the day I took over. I don't believe in coming to you every month and throwing new stuff at you. I don't
Well,
think
yeah,
that's fair.
that,
I don't think that's fair to you, John. I
yeah,
don't.
unless it's emergency type
Right,
stuff.
and that's why I say, the tank, emergency,
Yeah.
the pagers, we don't have anymore. We got 10 downstairs that are broken and irreparable. So, that's why I asked for the 20. And I'm sure in the coming years, Chief Baker's gonna be telling you, the building's now 20, 25 years old, and I got these things wrong. It happens. Those are 24/7, 365 buildings. Along with the PD. Those are the 3 buildings in this town that are 24/7, 365. Public safety. Get a lot of wear and tear.
I agree there. So Rich, do we need to do anything to?
Well, it's just that, let me have these conversations with the other people. We'll get back to you. Maybe we can
Yep.
meet separately and start formulating a capital plan that we can present to the, it's almost budget time.
So we'll present it to the building department.
Right, well,
Public
it'll,
engineering, town engineer.
Yeah.
Okay.
like, and see if I can get that squared away, that we can allot it to building maintenance.
Okay.
It'll make their budget go up more, but, it's they're town buildings.
Yeah,
They
no,
need
100%.
need to be maintained by the town.
And you know what? It's transparent that way.
Yeah.
It's not broken up where Chief Baker and I are asking for money that's for the building that's in our budget. No, it's all in building maintenance and this is what it costs.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
Is that a consensus of the board? We want to go with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Peter, you good with that? You awake?
He's shaking his head, yes.
All right. I do have one other quick question on the ARPA funds. You jump back. Is there like a deadline of these?
Yeah, 26.
Okay,
You have to allocate the money by 24 and spend it by the 26.
okay.
2026.
I got you.
24th of this.
So, we also don't want to rush into anything.
No, that's
spend it
why-
all up front.
Yeah, no, that's why I was wondering.
I am gonna make the comment that I hope we're gonna see more. I appreciate what's been done.
Yeah.
Rich, especially by you and by Tom, thank you.
Tom's
And
gonna
I
work
hope
hard.
we're
to
gonna
get
see
more
more
for
when I see New Fairfield just did 1.4 roughly to public safety. Brookfield's done 1.4 to public safety. I mean, Milford's done somewhere between a half and a million. So,
All righty. Moving on to our last item then would be the consideration of a schedule for our meetings for 2023. So
If I may,
go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, and I think the commission should meet every month. I know we're only required to meet quarterly, but
Yeah,
think
I
there's
asked,
too much
I
business.
asked a question actually though in the beginning. Is it, if we schedule these now then, are they considered regular meetings? Or-
yes,
Yeah,
Okay,
Yes.
there'll be regular meetings.
okay.
I
As
think I
long as you
mentioned,
put the schedule in.
I think I mentioned that at the last meeting, you said it would require a change to the ordinance though, because it's specific in
Well-
the ordinance that we meet quarterly.
That's possible.
and
Let me check with the town
and
attorney
you
on
could
that.
probably accomplish that before the end of the year.
So, but the other meetings could be special meetings. So if we schedule a meeting every month.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like, I mean, personally, I just don't like having, every other meeting or every,
Be a special meeting.
I don't like the special meetings because we can't accommodate public input, we can't add to the agenda.
Yeah.
If something else came up, 10 minutes before this meeting, we want to add to the agenda, we can't at a special meeting.
Or you make a note of that, we'll
So-
talk to the town attorney about it.
I'll make a motion that we seek a recommendation from town council as to whether or not we can make 12 regular meetings.
Could I make a suggestion?
And-
I would set the meetings tonight all the way through next January, which is what you typically do, pending approval of town council. Because then at least you have them
Well,
set.
Second
But
one.
also, if we can't do it, then they
You
would
could
be
run those
special.
as special meetings.
They would
That's-
be,
That's what I'm saying.
the odd ones would be. the
That way
special
you have
meetings.
them all set and everybody knows what
Yeah.
those meetings are, whether they're a regular meeting or a special meeting, they're set every
So
month.
last year we kind of went with the second Wednesday. Does that still work?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
So Mary, we'll do the second Wednesday of each month.
So I believe the last one you have scheduled is January, correct? This coming
Yes.
January?
Yep.
So then you're gonna go from there through the following January.
Correct,
schedule.
yeah. And
Rich, how-
Probably the
how
only-
are-
probably the only bad one would be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. No, second Wednesday.
Second Wednesday, yeah, no, so we're
all right,
good.
yeah, I'm sorry.
How difficult is it if you had to change the ordinance to make
You
it
gotta
so we
go to
have?
the public hearing and all that, Board of Selectmen, public hearing.
So.
I'll support you.
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Which, yeah,
It would not get done by the.
schedule.
Let's see, this is what, November? December?
November.
Well, I mean,
You're scheduled for January anyways.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well, let's-
thinking future wise.
All right, let me we'll talk to the town attorney about how we
All right.
can correct that.
Yeah, because we also want to do the
Well, we talked about,
designee, remember?
Right.
Yeah,
You gotta
right,
put that
and also adding a couple members.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. Okay. so
That would definitely have to be,
opposed.
yeah, the public hearing.
Okay. All right, so then we will, we're good with the second Wednesday. Any other discussion? Do I have to make a motion on that? schedule?
Motion was made by Fred, you need a second.
Oh, I'll second it. All in favor? signify by
Aye.
saying aye. All right, motion carries. All right, I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Peter, have a good night.
All right, you too. Thanks. Bye.